Germany. Well, before we learn how he's able to become the Führer of Germany, we need to see what Germany was like after World War I. Does Germany win or lose World War I? They lose. Their punishments are drawn up by the Treaty of Versailles that says Germany has to give up a lot of their land to other countries. Germany has to shrink their army so they're no longer a threat. And the big thing, Germany has to pay astronomical amounts for the damage of the war, what we call reparations. Now, the economy was so bad in Germany at this time that the money they used, this money, was not worth the paper it was printed on. In fact, if you wanted to go to the store simply to feed your family by buying a simple loaf of bread, it would take wheelbarrows full of that money. In this picture, you see a gentleman exchanging firewood not for potatoes, but potato peelings with which to feed his family. So this is what Germany was like. They were broke, they were bitter, they were embarrassed from their loss in the war, they had no jobs, and they were starving. This is the perfect climate for a charismatic leader like Adolf Hitler to come to power. He was a gifted speaker, and he got people all roused up and excited and angry. He told people he was going to rip up the Treaty of Versailles. He was going to create jobs. Unfortunately, Hitler and the Nazis used their gifts and their platform for hate. They were very anti-Semitic. They blamed the world's problems on the Jews. So as he was spreading his hate, he was also telling people what they wanted to hear. So as each passing election came and went, the Nazis got more and more seats in the German parliament. This got a lot of attention by one person in particular, the president of Germany, Paul von Hindenburg, who was no fan of Hitler, but he was a big proponent of the idea that you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So he comes up with a solution, appointing Hitler as chancellor, essentially second in command after himself, hoping that this will get the Nazis' fanatical supporters to chill out a little bit. Your guy's in a position of power, calm down. But at the same time, Hitler would be in a place where Hindenburg could kind of keep an eye on him, kind of control him. In theory, this should have worked, but did it? No. History teaches us otherwise. Flash forward, February 1933. Someone sets fire to the German parliament. The Reichstag is what it's called. Now, you may say, big whoop, a building's on fire. Why is this a big deal? Imagine if someone bombed our U.S. Capitol. It would be scary. It would be catastrophic for the government. That's essentially what this was. So Hitler sees it as the opportunity he's waiting for. He goes to the president and says, let's declare a state of emergency, which Hindenburg does. It suspends the government and allows that only Hitler and Hindenburg are the voices above all law calling the shots for Germany. Now, Hindenburg's in his 80s. What happens to him? He dies, leaving who in sole control of Germany? Hitler, the voice above all law. Hitler becomes the Führer, the leader, the dictator of Germany without ever having been elected by the people. Now, when Hitler becomes head of Germany, the country is swept up in Nazi mania. People are no longer wearing their regular clothes. They're wearing the uniform of the Nazi party, brown shirts and armbands. No, people are no longer greeting each other with a handshake. It's the one-armed Nazi salute and the greeting of Heil Hitler. Even the flag of the country changes to this, the swastika, the logo, the brand of the Nazi party, symbolically linking the party and the country as one and the same. Now, just because Hitler becomes the head of state, that doesn't mean that Germany's problems go away overnight. He has to find someone to blame for these problems. Who does he turn to? His old enemies, the Jews. Now, how do they turn public opinion against the Jews? Easy. Propaganda. Who can tell me what propaganda might be called today? Fake news. Exactly right. That idea that if you spread a lie over and over and over, it becomes accepted as fact. Nazis were geniuses at propaganda. It came in many different forms, like this book. The first thing you're struck about by this book is this huge picture of a Nazi party rally and how big the crowd is. This is a fake image. This is a 1930s Photoshop. The crowd has been manipulated to be much larger. Why would this be an effective propaganda tool? Look at all the support they have.
Simulate their power.
Exactly. If you're someone who's on the fence about Nazism, might this picture change your mind? Yeah. If it's me against that, it's going to be a lot easier for me to sit down and shut up and let them do what they want. Other forms of propaganda came in posters like this and that. There's the yellow one that shows Jews as dirty, as beggars, looking at gold coins that stereotype that Jews worship money. You had this poor guy who's kind of a combination of all different groups that the Nazis thought were degenerate. Individuals of African descent. The earring symbolizes that he's a gypsy. And how do we know he's Jewish? Branded with the Star of David there on his lapel. Now, how was this effective? Well, have a guess. Out of 100%, what percentage of the German population do you think was Jewish? Yeah.
Like 50 or like 75?
50 or 75%? A very good guess, a very valid guess. In actuality, at this time, Jewish population in Germany, less than 1%. If less than 1% of the population is Jewish, do you think many non-Jews knew a Jew personally?
No.
No. So how did they not know that this wasn't what a Jew was like? How do they know that is not what a Jew is like? How do they know that all these lies in the paper are not fact? That is the power of propaganda. Now, if you want to plant the seed of hate so that it grows in the future, you have to target the young people. And that's what the Nazis did. Many schools often started with a Pledge of Allegiance to Hitler. Some classes broke out into patriotic songs, one of which included the lyric, "When the blood of the Jews spurts off the night, Germany will again be free." This is what school was like. Children were reading a book called The Poisonous Mushroom that symbolized Germany as this beautiful garden and the Jews as poisonous mushrooms. If you wanted to keep yourself safe and protect the beauty of your garden, what must you do to the mushroom? You must destroy it. So this is how they control what you read, what you learn about in school, what you read in the paper. But if they want to completely control how you think, they have to get rid of the opposing viewpoint. On this wall, you see an image of a book burning. This is how the Nazis collected books. They raided libraries and bookstores of books that were written by people who did not go along with their way of thinking, and they burned them in large bonfires. This got attention around